Good morning. It's the second full week of Lent. I'm actually sorry that it's not the middle of Lent because the item in the story that I want to pick up is that very idea of the middle. Um, in this case, if you recall the story, it was talk about a bad middle. But we'll do a little more on that later. But I was musing on middle. I'm the middle of three sisters, and I learned very early on that there were some definite advantages to being in the middle. I could look at my older sister and my younger sister and kind of see what the advantages and the pitfalls were of some of the things that they did, what worked for them and what didn't. And I can make my amends on my own. So there's something about being in the middle of anything that makes you a little bit invisible, or at least puts you in a position where you still have plenty of time to take stock and to make amends, and have a better sense of either what you're doing wrong or how you can advance and go forward. So we're not in the middle of Lent on this spiritual journey. We do have the advantage at this point of middle times. We have plenty of time left, 4 weeks in fact, to take the measure of things and strive forward. But meanwhile, back to the story, you will recall that it was about a group of friends who were musing over what seemed like a very poor career choice, to say the least, of one of their classmates. And the assessment was, oh, Mike, she'd come to a bad end. But then one of the group had a different take on it, and she said, no, not a bad end, just a bad middle. I have to tell you, I really like that line, but most of all, I think I like that person. And I really would hope that I could be that person. So I've kind of decided that that's a new Lenten goal for me, to try to be that voice of optimism, of hope, of walking away from the harsh judgment about other people, and kind of being aware that they, like all the rest of us, can make amends. So it really is for me, it was for me, that timeless, important message of optimism and hope that particular woman voiced. So once again, talking about the power of the middle, we all can remember, I'm sure, that story, a parable of Jesus when he's talking about the kingdom of heaven, and in it, an ending that I have to tell you, Sunday school children, it confounds Sunday school kids, but it is that the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. Notice that he didn't mention the middle, but we know that they're there, and that those middle laborers too will, in the long run, reap their rewards. So now it's a bit of a leap from Jesus's parables to Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings, but there's a message for that young woman in the story and for all of us, in that famous line, not all those who wander are lost. Not all who wander are lost. It's good news. So we may all be still wandering around in our spiritual journey, but we're not lost. We're just in the middle. And we can always keep the good and the holy ending in our sight. And as middle people, we have room to grow and to make the changes that we need. Have a good middling week.